So like they were paying $11 an hour. It wasn't even commission. We were dialing phone book leads and you would only get paid a commission if you got a next day appointment. You would get a $10 bonus if you got a next day appointment booked.
Is that even fucking legal?
I don't think it was. I think it was pretty shady.
How much did you make like your first year remote closing?
The first 12 months full time was
Wow. And how old were you?
19.
19. First year job and out of school. What are the biggest challenges that you had to overcome, and also how did you overcome them?
First thing that comes to mind, like the biggest shift from going from making like a couple thousand a month to actually making like some good money. I think the biggest shift came from the people buy because of you, your confidence, the conviction you have in your voice. It wasn't necessarily like the sales training or anything that really got me to that next level, but it was that. But it's like an identity thing, you know? Like what I would tell myself, hey, the version of myself that's making 10 grand a month, he's not smoking every day.
Right, you literally have to like visualize who is it that you want to be and just become that person. That's good, G.
Bro.
How you doing? Good?
Good.
I love how we had that set up right in the middle of the office. Because why not? All right, so we're gonna cut through the bullshit. The reason why I wanted to have you here today, bro, is to really show people what is actually possible in the remote high ticket space if you've been at it for years. You know, I see a lot of people watching this, you know, getting into remote closers, they see 5K a month, 10K a month, but I just wanna have somebody who's been in the game, who fucking is slaying the fucking game, you know, is closing out multiple contracts, made multiple six figures, and worked your way up into a leadership role. And I just wanna have a sit down, have a chill conversation, maybe shed some light for the individuals who wanna, you know, get into the space.
Let's do it. Thank you for having me.
You know, before we get into like how much money you made and all that and how your life is like right now, let's talk about what your life was like before finding remote closing.
My life before remote closing, I was in school, right? I was in university studying. It was like a general business degree. I was probably gonna go into like accounting and finance, but like honestly, I didn't even know. Like I was literally just in a business degree just to be in a business degree, you know? Because like I kind of knew that like most degrees at the time were bullshit, you know? And if like you're gonna go to school, okay, like you might as well get a business degree. Now I know that even that is pretty bullshit, you know? but I mean, I guess whichever way you spin it, depending on, you know, what somebody's goals are. But yeah, you know, I was there like just to be there basically, you know what I mean? Like I remember being in school and like not really having a path. Like I didn't even know what I wanted on the back end of it, which is crazy because it's like all the money that, you know, I was spending on school and I didn't even have a real clear outcome on it, you know? So it's like the whole time I was just in school, I was doing everything. I was, you know, trying businesses, things online, like, you know, just all kinds of shit just because I was trying to like make money. I was always trying to like do something. And then, yeah, I mean, the rest is history. Halfway into my first year, you know, Dylan, who I was connected with through high school, we did door-to-door together.
That was your first sales gig, like actual sales opportunity.
The door-to-door?
Yeah.
No, it was, I did like telemarketing when I was like 15.
Really?
Yeah. But because this was like a couple months into high school and like I always needed to make money, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like even if it was something. So like I remember I was trying to find a job, and like nobody was hiring 15-year-olds. Right. But there was like some shady telemarketing company that was ran out of like this little freaking warehouse, and they were giving people like $50 referrals if you would like bring in a new body to, you know, dial phone book leads. Yeah, that's literally what it was. So like they were paying that back in that, it was, you would get minimum wage, which was like, you know, $11 an hour. Yeah. It wasn't even commission. We were dialing phone book leads for windows and doors. Yeah. And you would only get paid a commission if you got a next day appointment. That's what it was called. Like, oh, you got a next day? Yeah. Nice, bro. How many next days you got this month so far? So you would get a $10 bonus if you got a next day appointment booked.
Wow. Is that even fucking legal? Were you like walking in?
I don't think it was. I think it was pretty shady.
You was walking into like an office, like a warehouse?
It was like probably the size of our room now. Yeah. Like maybe a little bit bigger, but it was like filled up with probably like 15 people on like
it's fucked.
PCs crammed into this little room, and then right in the middle was like this Russian dude. I forget his name, but it was like Vlad. Or like, of course it was. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like one of those like Russian scammer names. But yeah, like it was a cool experience. That was kind of my first taste at sales, and the first taste of like the, you know, how shit sales can get, you know? But then yeah, I did the door-to-door in school, you know, I was trying to make money. Dylan told me what he was doing, and he was actually doing really well, and like especially seeing somebody my age who was crushing it. When I'm like broke, busted, and disgusted, I'm seeing this guy who I used to play basketball with, doing really well, and I was like, I got to do that. It's not often that you get those opportunities presented to you. So I was pretty lucky. I'm really grateful for that. And then I took that opportunity and I ran with it.
I'm curious, like, most people would have, if you had a bad opportunity doing sales at 15, like that would traumatize most people, right? And they wouldn't want to get into sales. What made you like still want to go into sales and do door to door?
Door to door was kind of the same thing. It was like I didn't really have like predictable money, and like I saw other people doing it.
Right.
And it's like the whole appeal with sales is that it's 100% commission, Right. So it's like me being just an unskilled person with no value to really give to society yet. It's like okay, cool. Like I can learn a script, I can do the work. And door to door, it was something where it's like, okay, if you have a good day, you might make $300, $400, $500 in commissions in a few hours of knocking doors. So like that was pretty appealing.
You mentioned you learned something really, really important, something really valuable while with your door to door journey. You've told me this before. That made you like change your whole mindset on sales and why people buy. Can you share that?
Yeah, and I only really like I had this mindset when I was doing door to door, and I only really shifted that maybe like even like a year into doing what we're doing now, high ticket. But like I would always think that people are either gonna buy or they're not. Like it's not really up to me. Right. Like I have no control. It's just a numbers game, right? Like just knock the doors, give your pitch. If they say no, okay, go to the next one, right? And like I couldn't really imagine that someone could influence someone else to spend money. Like that just didn't make sense to me. So like until when I shifted that belief is when I started making real money in sales. But until I did, like it was just you're just closing the layups. You know what I mean? You're just closing the easy sales, and that's maybe like 10% of the people you speak to.
Yeah. That people actually buy because of you, not because of your product, not because of your service, because of you. Yeah, I think that's a powerful mindset shift. I used to think the same way, but then when I knew that I have the power, my whole like mindset, my whole demeanor, my energy, everything changed on these calls because I'm like, they're gonna do it because of me, right? Dude, let's talk about like your beginning, like your journey in remote closing. Like how long, like what was the process for you to actually get on phones? Like how'd you get trained? Like how long did it take you to make your first sale?
For sure. So I started like winter break of 2019. Right, came back from school, came back to the hometown, linked up with Dylan. He trained us up. Okay, here's what you're doing on the calls. Here's what you're selling. Awesome. I remember I was pissed because once I was done training, it was my aunt's wedding, so I had to go like fly to Philadelphia to go for that, and I was pissed the whole time because I was so excited about this opportunity because it was a $5,000 package. Right. On a 10% commission. That's $500. It's like $600-700 Canadian, right? So I was so excited just by that. I was like, I need to start. So I was on for like a week while I was away for that wedding. I would be just in my room, just like going over the script in my head, just doing it over and over and over. And like that's why like it's crazy, but because now like I'll see people who like don't want to train or don't want to role play. And I'm like they just don't understand the opportunity. Like they're just not grateful for it, But yeah, anyways, trained up. I think like right when I got back, like first day on phones, it was actually my first 2 sales calls that I did. I was dialing off a spreadsheet. I was in a Tim Hortons booth with like another guy who was doing sales for like a couple months already. It was two payment plans for like $500. I closed it. I started the call, but then the other guy like closed it out for me. And it was like the first 2 dials that I did were both deals, and like from then I was just hooked. I went back to school to Laurier, and then we were because we're in Canada, we're dialing U.S. leads. Right. We bought a Samsung S5 for like literally $50, like cracked up like trap phone. It was actually saved on my contacts as like the trap phone. Okay. And we went down to Walmart, got $50 a month, unlimited talk and text, US, Canada wide, and we were sharing this phone between 3 people, right? So it was like a constant battle, but it was fun, it was cool. I was doing a good couple $1,000 a month. Nice. Part-time in school. Nice.
First year, like Laurier business.
Wow. Yeah, like right off the bat, we were closing because I was just so hungry, you know what I mean? Yeah. And COVID hit. They sent everybody home. That was maybe like 4 months after I started, which was great because I just had all of a sudden a bunch of free time just opened up for me. And then that's when by then we already had the office space, the same office space. Nobody else was in here, and it was just 12-hour days on the phone for like freaking probably 2 years straight after that. I dropped out of school because I was making good money. I was like really upping my commissions, especially when I went full time. And then yeah, like that was kind of like the beginning of like just everything, you know, the agency of our journey. And it's so cool to see like how far we've come, you know.
So Laurier sent you home. Like that guy's like, there was no more in on campus like classes, so you had to go home.
It was exam season, so all the exams were done from home for like the first time ever, like in history, you know. So it was like I wasn't doing any studying. There was test banks that you could find. I would have because you'd have to download a browser that would like lock down your whole laptop so you couldn't cheat. But I would have and it would also watch you on the camera. So like if you turned your head, it would flag you. And then like a TA would check your recording and be like, oh, he cheated, if you were actually cheating. So what I did, I would have my phone on the laptop just like this. So it would look like I'm on, and then I would just be like with my thumb, just like Command F.
That's the cheat code.
And you could like look up the same test questions.
Nice.
And then, so I did no studying, just all sales. And it didn't even matter because I dropped out like a couple months later, but.
How much did you make like your first year remote closing?
First 12 months on the phone, the first 12 months full time was 100 grand Canadian.
Wow. And how old were you?
Very close to it. 19?
19. 100 G's.
Yeah.
First year job out of school.
Yeah, and the thing is all my classmates who told all my roommates who were like, yo, like, what are you doing? Like,
wild.
Don't drop out. They had to spend another 3-4 years in school for them to maybe make, you know, 60K
Right.
the first year out of school.
Right.
You know, when in my head, I'm like, shit, I can go make more than that this year.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
But like in hindsight, like it wasn't that simple, you know, like in hindsight, like I had to take a chance, like, you know, there's a lot of trust and faith in, you know, the opportunity and myself for sure. You know, also a lot of hard work, a lot of ups and downs, you know, but like.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Like, what are the biggest challenges that you had to overcome? Whether they're insecurities, whether they're misconceptions you had, but what are the biggest challenges that you had to overcome, and also how did you overcome them?
I think the first thing that comes to mind, like the biggest shift from going from making like, you know, decent, you know, like regular couple thousand a month to actually making like some good money. I think the biggest shift came from the personal development side, you know. Again, people buy because of you, right? Who you are, you know, your confidence, the way you can speak, right? The conviction you have in your voice on a call, you know. So like there was a point I was smoking weed all the time. I was drinking a lot while I was in school, and I kind of kept that up in the beginning. The moment I quit weed, like cold turkey, I was doing that for years, like daily.
I don't believe that, bro. I can't imagine you sitting drinking and smoking weed, bro.
Yeah.
See, you must have done a fucking complete 180, bro.
Yeah, no, like I did, you know, because like I kind of made that shift of like, okay, cool, I'm doing this now. Like, it's 100% commission. Like, everybody's doubting. Like, my parents didn't think I was going to do anything. Like, nobody thought I was going to do anything. I'm like, shit, I got to get serious about this, you know. So like, yeah, I like cut out weed because I knew it was holding me back. And then the moment I did, it's like all of a sudden I'm not groggy in the morning. And like literally same month I did that, doubled my commissions, you know, like. As time went by, like, you know, getting really disciplined in the gym, you know, actually like picking up books and reading them, you know, like something that I hadn't done for years, right? But like doing it because I wanted to learn, I wanted to become a better version of myself. I think the consistency of doing that, like, it wasn't necessarily like the sales training or anything that really got me to that next level, but it was that personal development, you know?
Yeah, nobody talks about that too. It's not the fun thing. It's not the sexy thing that I talk about. And I like what you said, and it's like that. I believe it's like that for most people. It's not about what else you should do, but it's the bullshit that you had to cut off, right? And that understanding that you had to show up every single day. Because if you're doing 100% commission, you eat what you kill. And every day it restarts, you start at zero. And you're only as good as who you were yesterday. That's amazing that you had that mindset and were self-aware of that. It made you stop. But why? Why were you so motivated to stop and do better?
I think because like I always just knew, you know, like like subconsciously, like if you're f***ing smoking weed every day, like it's pretty obvious that you shouldn't be doing that, you know?
But you're making 100 G's. You're 19 years old. Like why
I wasn't making that kind of money at that time. It was after I really started making those changes is when I started increasing my commissions, you know, like up until then, it was just like minimum stuff, bro. Like I was at the bottom of the board, you know, like Amon, a lot of the other guys who used to work with us, who like I was friends with, who I grew up with, were killing me in terms of numbers, and like that honestly like pissed me off a lot. Like I didn't let anybody know like outwardly, but like it like got under my skin that like, you know, other people were doing better than me. But it's like an identity thing, you know, like when you say like, hey, like, you know, like I am capable of more, and you see yourself as being able to accomplish more, it's like you step into that identity. And it's like when you think of like, hey, the version of myself that's making, at the time what I would tell myself, hey, the version of myself that's making 10 grand a month, he's not smoking every day.
Right.
You know, he's not doing that shit. He's not,
right.
You know?
Yeah, you literally have to like visualize who is it that you want to be and just become that person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the habits that person would have.
Yeah.
You know, and then you do become that person. You force yourself to, you know, step into that, you know?
Well, would you say you had like imposter syndrome? You were trying to be that new person, but it felt like fake, like you're trying to be somebody who you're really not, but you had to do that? Because I can say personally for me, when I stepped into a leadership role, when I have everybody looking at me right now, and it's my first time like being a leader, I didn't know what the I was doing. I had to act like it. You know what I mean? I had to like act it at first, become it, pretend to be it so that I could become it.
Yeah.
How did you deal with that?
It's a good question. To be honest, like because I played sports growing up, and like even like on my like, you know, basketball team, like small school, nothing serious at all. But like I was a leader on my team, you know, right? So it's like, and even before that, you know, like I would take like certain leadership roles. So I think honestly, I feel like that kind of came naturally to me, or at least the sense that like I could lead and I could, you know, help other people. I think with like the content, you know, cool. We've achieved some really cool things like in here in this office, like, you know, within each other. But like when you step online and like we're starting to post and, you know, talk about what we do, like there's a little bit of imposter syndrome there. But then that just goes back to the habits, you know. It's like if your habits are messed up, then it's like, yeah, like why would anybody listen to me? You know, if I can't like keep my word to myself, like what gives me the right to hop online and tell somebody that they should do the same thing, you know? So it's like, with more responsibility, with more, you know, success comes like, you know, behind the scenes, you know, like you gotta get more rock solid with everything else, you know. Absolutely. But I feel like that's the core of everything.
Yeah, you gotta practice what you preach. Yeah. Absolutely. And then only then everything will come with conviction, everything that you say.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's talk about before we get into like how's life like right now and what we do, like how life actually looks like. How'd you have to get here? From being a closer, from a skilled good closer, bringing in multiple six figures, to being a team leader, managing different contracts, and be able to, you know, now coach and train over 600 students.
How do we make that jump?
Yeah. What are the steps that we had to take to make that jump?
I mean, I think it was pretty natural, because it's like all we had to do, like once we started, you know, like Millionaire Closers, right? When we started working with people online, it's like we're basically doing the exact same thing that we've been doing for years in our office, but just remote. So like it's pretty natural. I don't know. I feel like for me, like it always pissed me off, because like, you know, like high ticket sales and just sales in general kind of gets a bad name. And like you look at what's out there and like it makes sense why it gets a bad name, you know, because there's like people who don't really have the kind of experience that we do, but you know they have businesses. They're doing things where they're like, you know, training people. And then it's like, you know, I think just like naturally it's like, hey, like here we are with all of our experience, but we're not putting anything out, you know? And it's like, it like almost became like our responsibility, where it's like, hey, like we've been in this game for so long, like we started doing this before most people did it. It's like we're almost doing a disservice by not, you know, putting our face out there, by not, you know, getting behind this, you know. And
yeah, man, we get calls every day, people hopping on calls with us, letting us know, like telling us all about their experience. How it's like, yeah, I worked with this guy and that guy and their training was great, but when it came to placement, when it came to finding a job, like we had nothing, you know. Or they would make us work with a small business, barely have any leads. Yeah. Couldn't make any money.
Yeah. And or like some pyramid scheme bullshit where it's like, oh yeah, like I bought his program and then now he has me selling his program.
Yeah.
It's so like just like yucky, you know? Like it's just bad business. But
it's okay.
I mean, it's not easy out here, you know. But like at the same time, you know, again, like if we have something that works, like if we have a, you know, a community, like a culture that's worked for all of us so well. It's again, like it's our responsibility. And I take a lot of pride in that, you know, and like finding and working with other people, and, you know, especially people who are like kind of in my same situation when I was first getting into this. Like I love, you know, working with those individuals and helping them and sharing a lot of the lessons that like it took me so long to learn, because then it's just like you just cut the freaking learning curve, you know.
Yeah.
It's just so much faster.
No business can withstand the test of time if it's not built on truth. And there's nothing more fulfilling than that, man, than to be able to put your time in and coach people, help people, change their life, and get that these messages that we get every single day. Like, hey, thank you for changing my life. Thank you for turning my life around for me. You know, I never thought this was possible. Not only the money, but the mindset. You know, nothing is more gratifying and fulfilling, like for me personally, than that.
It's like we have a guy, you know, Corey, for watching this, shout out to you, out in Vancouver. You know, I remember like speaking to him initially and like kind of in the same spot that I was in, you know, where it's like, you know, kind of stuck in a job that he wasn't really happy with, like wanted more. I believe the other month he did 7-8 grand in commissions. He's kind of, you know, this month hasn't been as good yet, but he's coming out to Toronto all the way from Vancouver to spend a weekend here in our office, you know? And it's like, that's just such a cool opportunity, man. Like it's just, Dylan, do you know the story of that, by the way? Apparently, this is what I heard. Dylan was running a coaching call, and then Corey hops on, he's like, yo, you know, in February I did 8 grand in commissions, like, you know, whatever. And then Dylan's like, yo, like, no way, like, that's awesome, bro, like, congrats. Dylan's like, yo, you should come out to the office. And then Corey's like, I don't know, like, it's an expensive flight or whatever. Dylan's like, bet, like, I'll pay for the flight right now if you're actually serious. And then he's like, okay. He's like, I'll pay for the flight, you pay for the hotel. And then on the coaching call, pays for the flight, shows it to everybody on the call. And then yeah, he's coming April like 6th, 7th, or that weekend. Yeah,
I know he's coming, but I don't know if Dylan did that. Of course Dylan would do that.
Yeah.
And dude, 8K, he brought in 8K in February.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Like, that's just so cool, man. Like, it's just so cool how like we can like really like, you know, like what we've been doing, what we've been building for so long behind the scenes, like going through everything, how like now we can just really like put ourselves out there and like help other people do the same thing, you know? Like it's so freaking cool, man.
It's fucking dope. 2 more questions for you. First of all, how is life like right now? Like having control of your own income, you know, be able to do this wherever you want, whenever you want, with whomever you want. You know, working with 8, 9-figure entrepreneurs. How's that like?
Life is good. Life is good. I feel like in the beginning you think, hey, like when I start making the serious money, like I'm gonna go do this and do that, and like everything is gonna change, and like I'm gonna go move and, you know, have this crazy lifestyle shift. But like honestly, like it's really just been doing the exact same thing that I've been doing since day one, since 2020, except it's just at a higher level now, you know what I mean? Helping more people, just higher leverage, more responsibility, bigger checks, but you know, there's absolutely a little bit more freedom as well. You know, it's amazing how, you know, especially over the past year, like I took, you know, I traveled more than I've ever traveled before, to like whether it's just for vacation, where like we just go to Portugal and like we're still closing deals out there in the middle of the night, you know, or if it's, you know, going out to a business mastermind or an event, like it's good. And I think the vision is just so much more clear, you know?
Absolutely. If you would have told me 2 years ago when you and I were here probably complaining about leads, and blaming the leads, we would have never thought that a month ago we would be invited to Eric Spofford's house and just looking at him like 5 meters away.
Yeah. That was crazy.
You know, that was so fucking cool.
That was so dope.
Very inspirational. And just, not only freedom, but the network that we have, you know, that's the real like fucking power. This is a network. And I had no idea that this was all possible. You know, I just personally, like, I just wanted to quit my job and have more freedom, travel a little bit more, make a little bit more money. But when I got the taste of money and freedom and the power, I'm like, I want more. And the impact as well, it's crazy.
And it's like, and it's also too, it's like there's like a love for the game, you know? Like you think that, there was a question someone asked at the event that we did in Miami, right? It's like, hey, so like after the grind, like when can you enjoy the fruits, you know? And it's like, okay, yeah, like I'm sure some people take that approach, but it's like, man, like I love what I do every day, you know? Like I wake up every single day excited, and like I was so afraid when I was in business school that I was gonna go down a path where like I wake up dreading every day. I was so afraid of that, and it's so cool how it's like I wake up every day excited, man. And we talk about this all the time. It's like, even when, you know, as the years go by, it's like, yeah, we'll have nicer toys, we'll have nicer trips, we'll have nicer things, nicer watch, you know, but like it's gonna be the same thing. And like, I love that, you know, like that's exactly how I'd want it to be.
What would you say for the viewers watching who are, or maybe just getting into sales, thinking about getting into sales, who want that lifestyle, they want that freedom? What words of wisdom would you give them?
I would say join our program. No, for real. Like, I mean, if it's like whoever it is, find a mentor. You know, find people who have walked the path that you want to walk. Get connected to them. You know, like by far, if I didn't have that connection with Dylan off the bat, I would not be where I'm at today. You know, but you know what else? Like sometimes, you know, I think it's easy to think, okay, yeah, like I got lucky with that. You know, but also a lot of other people were connected to Dylan as well, and they didn't take the opportunity, you know, seriously. You know what I mean? They didn't go all the way with it. So it's like one, you got to get connected with people who are where you want to be. You got to find, okay, like who are the people who are 5 years ahead of me? You know, like who are real people who can actually, you know, show me the path and just make it easier, right? And then when you find those people, it's like, okay, that's step one. A lot of people think, oh, if I just like make the first step right. People will spend a year looking for like a mentor and they'll do nothing, and they just think, oh, once I find the mentor, it's all done. No, that's just the start.
That's,
you know,
like the puzzle.
That's not even half. Like that's 1%. It's like, okay, cool. Like you're at the start line. Congratulations. You know, you are officially in the game. Now you have all the work left to do. Now you start the journey, right? So it's like, I think yeah. One, it's like it's finding, you know, whether it's like a sales leader or people in your area, people you can look up to. They don't need to be multimillionaires, but it could be like, you know, a cousin or a friend of a friend who's got a business going, you know, or something. Like get hooked up with them. You know, understand that there's upside, even if it's not, you know, super clear in the beginning. Even if you don't have the vision necessarily played out right away, it's like by just, you know, getting connected to the right opportunity and putting in the work, doing the dials, doing the self-improvement day in, day out, you know, just trust that you will get to where you want to be. Like there's no other way.
What would you say that people have self-doubt, who want to do this, but they just doubt themselves?
Have fun staying where you're at. like straight up, like get over it.
Yeah.
Like you have one life, like you're gonna die. I saw a video that Eric put out. He's like, listen, he's like, quick like reality check, you know? He's like, you're gonna die one day. And not only that, when a human being dies, they shit themselves and they piss themselves. So you're gonna be dead in your own piss and shit one day. It's like, why don't you take full action today? Like, why don't you do the thing that scares you today? Like, why don't you take that chance, you know? Because, yeah, I thought that was funny, but like, it's also like, really,
100%, bro. We got only a few decades left on this floating rock, so might as well make it count. And yeah, like Misha said, bro, like the first thing you fucking need to do is find a mentor, somebody who's already in a position where you want to be, right? If you have a problem in your life, you want to solve it, you're essentially solving half the problem, but just figuring out, okay, this is a mentor, this is what I want to do. The other half is just you putting in the work, being consistent, making sure your actions are aligned with your values every fucking day. And it'll be literally fucking impossible for you not to achieve your goals.
Yep.
If you do that day in and day out.
That's it.
Misha, Habibi, thank you for coming on, bro. I appreciate you. Guys, if you enjoyed this, subscribe to Misha's channel. It's going to be linked below. While you're at it, subscribe to mine. Check out our content. Misha and I drop bombs all day fucking long. Sales strategies, mindset, business, sales, you name it. And we'll see you guys in the next one.
See you there. Peace.
Peace.